And we are live. Welcome for this weekly live stream on the latest and greatest news in Ethereum and DeFi. I do this every Monday at 11 p.m. UTC plus 8. And if you don't know me, I'm Julian, and on my channel Eat the Blocks, I teach blockchain development. And hi to everybody in the chat. So quickly, for new people here, I launched a token for the channel, the ETB token, so that is on Binance Smart Chain. I gave this token for free in an airdrop, and the first feature of this token will be to vote for the videos of the channel on YouTube. So I'm still working on the app to do the voting, so that's going to be the DAO app. So I'm going to release it probably at the end of this week. This week I need to test it first, so probably that next week we're going to do the first vote for the channel. We already have quite a lot of activity on the token here, so I guess like maybe this is some transfers on PancakeSwap, because I know that someone created a liquidity pool on PancakeSwap, so it's all you can do now for the token. But from next week it will have a real utility. You'll be able to use it for voting. Okay, so we are going to start with the price of Ether. So absolutely fantastic week for Ether once again. It's 2 weeks in a row that is absolutely mind-blowing. So we reached $4,000 this week. Ether is really going to the moon. So since the beginning of the year, Ether has increased of more than 400%, which compares to which can be compared to roughly 100% increase for Bitcoin. So much better for Ether. So Ether has a market cap of about $480 billion. That's more than the market cap of JP Morgan. Very important milestone. And it's about 44% of the market cap of Bitcoin. But just a few months ago, it was just 20%. So Ether is very quickly catching up on Bitcoin. It's a very interesting development. Another very bullish metric. So Ether reached almost 8 million active addresses on Sunday, which is above the previous record of 7.14 million reached on January 2018. Another important fact is that this time the rise of Ether is totally uncorrelated to either Bitcoin or the stock market, and it's very different from previous price increase. This time Ether is really going its own way, which means that the recent increase is much more significant. So how can we explain this? So let's have a look at first a big, let me see. First, a big reason is the recent surge in interest from institutional. So institutional finally start to realize that Ether is the real deal, not Bitcoin. And a proof of this is the existence of a so-called Coinbase premium, which means that currently it's more expensive to buy Ether on Coinbase versus other exchanges. And that's because institutionals prefer to use Coinbase to buy Ether, because Coinbase is more regulated. We also have another proof that there is a very high interest from institutional for Ether, and that's because of the option market. So the option market is typically driven by institutionals, and we can see that the option market is at the highest ever for Ether. So in terms of open interest, we are above $3 billion. So that's much more than just a year ago. And finally, another reason for the recent increase in Ether could be what we call a gamma squeeze. So a lot of option traders sold so-called naked calls, meaning that they didn't hedge themselves, they just sell the calls, never thinking that Ether could go up so fast. But now that Ether went up way past the expectation, they have to buy some Ether in panic to meet their obligation, and so this is a huge buying pressure for Ether. So where will Ether go next? So to answer this question, we can ask Gary Tan. So Gary Tan is one of the early investors in Coinbase, and he famously turned $300,000 into $2 billion. And so this guy predicts that Ether will reach $10,000. But is $10,000 enough? No, we want more. So actually we might go above 10k, because Deribit, which is a crypto exchange for option, introduced the highest strike ever for the option on Ether. They introduced a strike at $50,000 for next year. So that means that some people are now betting that Ether will reach $50,000 next year. But is $50,000 enough? No, we still want more. So that's why we have an even more crazy prediction. So someone called Nikhil Shamapan wrote an 80-page report to back a claim that Ether will reach 150k. So it's not the first person who would justify a super high prediction. A couple of weeks ago, we also had Arthur Hayes, ex-CEO of Bitfinex, who also wrote a long article to explain his super high prediction of for Ether. I think his top prediction was something like $400,000. Yeah, so we start to have more and more famous people making some super bullish prediction. Next, some news for Ethereum 2.0. So Nano Ledger now supports signing transaction for the deposit contract of Ethereum 2.0. So this allows you to stake your Ether from your Nano Ledger. Before, if you wanted to stake, you had to send your Ether from your Nano Ledger to another address, which make you lose the safety of your hardware wallet if you do staking. So it's a big improvement for Nano Ledger. In terms of gas fee, we are still at a low level, even though we had like 2 big spikes. That's because of the increase in trading of Ethereum, but still low gas. The gas price is low. However, because the price of Ether is so high, the total transaction fee are still very, very high, unfortunately. Then let's look at the market cap of DeFi. So we keep increasing, and that is largely due to the increase in Ether, because if we look in the number of ETH locked, we had this big decrease in the couple of the last few weeks. So I don't know why it's going down, but ideally we want to lock as many Ether in DeFi as possible. But anyway, in terms of total value locked, we are slowly but surely approaching 100 billion. So probably before this summer, we'll reach $100 billion locked in DeFi. It's a huge milestone. Then in terms of the top DeFi coin, what do we have this week? We have mostly winner, 200%. For this coin, I don't know that one. Actually, I don't know many of these projects here. Let me see. Do we have any famous project that went up a lot? Yeah, we have a Chainlink here. Yeah, 1 inch. That's it. But for the really crazy gain, basically a lot of new project. And for the loser, not many loser this week. Yeah, nothing too spectacular. Yeah, Cream Finance here minus 20%, Dodo Finance, Saffron Finance. Yeah, so a positive week for Ether, positive week for DeFi token as well. Then let's have a look at news from DeFi project. We're going to start with Uniswap, which is the main news of the week. So Uniswap V3 launched just a few days ago. I already explained the main updates of Uniswap V3 in a live stream a couple of weeks ago, but in a nutshell, the biggest change is called concentrated liquidity, which makes Uniswap more capital efficient. So basically, Uniswap V3 as an LP, you don't just provide the 2 assets of a pool, but you also have to specify the price range where your liquidity will be active. So for example, you can decide to provide liquidity only between $3,000 and $4,000 for Ether. This means that we need a lower amount of assets locked to provide the same liquidity and get the same level of trading fees. And a good metric to measure this capital efficiency is the ratio of trading volume to total value locked. And for a certain value locked, we want the highest trading volume possible. So we want this ratio to be high. And so here in this tweet, the founder of Uniswap shows us that the ratio for V3 is almost 4 times higher than for V2 and almost 44 times higher than for V1. So you can see that there is a huge improvement from V1 to V3. And this will probably help Uniswap reassert its leadership in the DEX ecosystem, especially in front of SushiSwap. And since Uniswap is so important in the DeFi ecosystem, this is going to be very bullish. So next step will be when Uniswap will migrate to a L2 chain, and they are planning to do that by migrating to Optimism this summer. And when this happens, it's going to be huge because Uniswap will catch up with PancakeSwap and get back its place as the first DEX across all blockchains. And last thing, if you want to analyze the data for Uniswap, check out this dashboard on Dune Analytics. If you never heard of Dune Analytics, it's a great tool for creating dashboards for blockchain and DeFi, and I actually have a video about it on my channel. Oh yeah, still another thing to show you about Uniswap V3. So check out this tool if you want to play around with the different parameter as a liquidity provider, because for Uniswap V3 it's a little bit more technical. You don't just provide your LP token, but you also have to decide which range you want to provide your liquidity for. So for that, you need a dashboard to help you play around with the parameter. So here we have a very nice tool for LP liquidity provider for Uniswap V3. Okay, so next we have some news from MakerDAO. So huge step for MakerDAO, the creators of the DAI stablecoin. So the MakerDAO Foundation has sent $400 million of their treasury to the DAO smart contract of Maker. So now the DAO is in control of the funds, and it has become a true decentralized project. So building a true decentralized ecosystem is really hard. So usually projects are very cautious and proceed very incrementally until they become totally decentralized. Well, for MakerDAO, they have finally completed the last step in their decentralization. So it's going to be super interesting to see how their DAO experiment work out for them, how the funds are deployed, and if it leads to better decisions compared to when it was centralized. Next, we have a new project called Impermax Finance. So this is a new lending protocol that accepts the LP tokens of other projects as collateral. So we already saw some protocols like Aave accepting LP tokens as collateral, but Impermax Finance goes even further and accepts an even wider range of LP tokens. So this is a great opportunity for yield farming. You become a LP liquidity provider on Uniswap, you get your LP tokens, and then you lend them on Impermax, and you get some extra yield. And then some news from Quenta Finance. So this is a new derivatives protocol. It allows you to trade some derivatives and also some real world assets. So for example, stock, let me see, stock, forex, stock, forex, etc. So this make me think of Wall Street, the Wall Street bet DApp that was released a couple of weeks ago. So now centralized finance is coming to DeFi. So we start to see more and more of this. And so Quenta under the hood leverage the synthetics protocol to give you access to all these tokens. And they recently reached $1 billion in total volume. So this is growing fast. Then some news from StockX. So StockX is one of the leading technology for L2 chains on Ethereum. And they reached $1 billion traded across 2 sidechains, including the sidechain of DYDX. So do some research on the layer 2 solutions, because all these projects, their tokens are going to increase like crazy. So that's from the investment perspective, and also from a developer perspective. Of course, this is going to become more and more relevant. Then some news from Rari Capital. So this is a yield aggregator which was unfortunately hacked for 15 million. So this involved a flash loan on DYDX and another yield aggregator called Alpha Omera. So it was pretty complex. It happened across Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. So it's the first cross-chain hack that we hear about. Then some news from Value DeFi. So Value DeFi was hacked $10 million a first time this week, just because a single line of code was missing. So that's probably the most expensive line of code ever. So they were hacked a second time in the same week for another $11 million. And before that, they were already hacked of $7 million in November last year. And so later, someone found something interesting about them. So apparently one of the co-founder of this project was a pet actress. So at this stage, with like so much incompetency and so much lie, I don't really trust them at all. So did they hack themselves? Well, it's totally possible, totally possible. Then I wanted to show you this website, Crypto Fees. So they just released their V2. So it's a website to show you the fees of various blockchain and DeFi project. So here you can see that Ethereum is the blockchain that received the most trading fee, transaction fee, way more than Bitcoin. And very interestingly, Uniswap V2 has more trading fee compared to the transaction fee of Bitcoin. So that really show you the power of Ethereum. You have a single DeFi protocol with more transaction fee than the whole Bitcoin chain. It's absolutely huge. Then, what do we have? Gary, I think, I think I missed a tab here. Where did I put this? Okay, I think I missed a tab. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, so basically the NFT news of the week is a new NFT project of Gary Vaynerchuk. So he released his own NFT project. And so yeah, it will be a sort of fan club. Basically, when you have the token of Gary, you have access to his conference and like some events. So yeah, it's always cool to see famous people popularize blockchain in any way they can. Then some news from Coinbase. So Coinbase is closing its office in San Francisco. I actually wonder if it's the first public company to not have any headquarters at all. So it comes in the wave of an exodus out of San Francisco. So a lot of people are going to the SaaS in the US, in Austin, Texas, and also in the Southeast, in Miami, which is becoming a new crypto hub. So yeah, really first big company without a headquarter. Very cool to see this. Then some news from stablecoin. So Tether, the largest stablecoin with 64% of market share, reached $1 trillion of transaction volume since the beginning. So that's a huge milestone. So the amount and the activity of stablecoin just keeps going up. And we now have about 80 billions of stablecoins in circulation, and it's growing really, really fast. Then some news from S&P. So S&P released 3 crypto indices, one for Bitcoin, one for ETH, and also a so-called mega cap combo. So that's a combo of the first 2. And they're using a partner that provides crypto data to Wall Street called Luca. So we already discussed Luca before. They basically want to become the next Bloomberg, but for enterprise crypto. So this is not the first crypto indices for Wall Street. There are already some, like a crypto index from Bloomberg and another one from Galaxy. So these indices are very important because they will allow big players from Wall Street to start investing in crypto, and that's going to be a lot of money. Then some news from the ETF world. So Van Eck, which is an ETF startup, has filed an application for an Ethereum ETF to the SEC. So Van Eck already filed an application for a Bitcoin ETF, and this is currently being reviewed by the SEC. So if this new application is approved, it would be the first Ether ETF in the US, but not in the world, because we already have some Ether ETF in Canada. Okay, so next, some news from regulators in the UK. So a big regulator in the UK warned investors against investing in crypto by saying that they risk losing all of their money. And someone on Twitter reply by this chart. So that's basically the purchasing power of the British pound during the last millennium. Yeah, so very, very interesting. Okay, so next we're going to do the Q&A. So let me go up in the chat, see what we have here. So we have T.O. Hey man, we have Ayo Deji. Hey, we have PLV. Hey, Joran. We have Constantin. We have THX. We have Thinking Blockchain. Freeman, Nilesh, Dixon, R24. We have Dixon, Paras, Bitcoin Delight. So Bitcoin Delight is saying, is there a big doing options for 365 days? I believe so, because the strike at 50k was for 2022. So yeah, I believe so. THX saying you can buy cryptocurrency on Amazon, such as storage coins and collectible. Did you know that? Oh, I think. Do you mean like some physical coin, and they have a private key, but you need to trust that nobody ever copied the private key? Are you talking about this? Nilesh, what can you say about the Bank of England governance? Oh yeah, well, I mean, I just commented on that. Corporal Pool, will EIP 1559 help with the gas fees? Yeah. Or will they still be high but consistent and predictable? Yeah, so it's supposed to help with the gas fees. Yeah, it's not going to be the ultimate solution. Of course, the L2 chain are going to help way more in the short term, but still, EIP 1559 is a step in the correct direction. It's maybe going to help like 20%, but 80% of the help is going to come from L2 chain. What about DAO Maker? Yeah, I already talked about this just before. J Pool saying, I'm new and I get money jet for this man. What do you mean? Freeman, Cryptoverse, you are number one. Thanks, man. Constantin, could you make some videos about cloud storage for blockchain app? Please, thank you. Cloud storage for blockchain app. What is special about this? Do you mean how to store? Do you mean things like IPFS? Actually, IPFS is not a blockchain app, but I don't know if it's what you mean. IODG, too many rush projects out there. Yeah, I mean, you know, this is a bull market now, so yeah, it's a big rush right now. Then TP, hey man, you rock. Let me know if I can be a tester on the DAO or whatever. I'm still leveling up my skills before I send you my proposal on teaching. Okay, yeah, for sure. So I'm probably gonna start the testing for the students of my courses. So we're gonna do some internal testing, and if it works fine, then I'm going to release this publicly. Thanks for the help. Abracadabra, wow, this ETF is huge, biggest news ever. Yeah, for sure. Like I think that one of the two biggest crypto event this year. Okay, so you have like Coinbase IPO, that was one of the biggest news. Then you're gonna have the Bitcoin ETF, Ether ETF. Yeah, these are going to be monumental. So yeah, out of the three major events in the crypto world this year, we already had one, and we still have two to go. So yeah, we still have a lot of increase potentially. Nilesh, which is better, ADA or Polkadot? Polkadot. Yeah, ADA at this point, yeah, it's kind of a joke, really. PLV Julian, technical question regarding security. What are the access limit that a smart contract has when it's approved using a wallet? I think it's very difficult to answer in the general sense. I mean, it really depends how the smart contract is written. Yeah, it's very difficult. I need to see the code to answer you, but exactly. Basically, you do what you want with a smart contract. Could it access the different tokens because the one beyond the one used in a transaction? No, I mean, if you approve a smart contract to spend one token, it can just spend this token. That's it. Abracadabra. Okay, now let me skip this. Okay, Marco.io. In the block, your Solidity course has really helped me out to learn how to deploy and create smart contracts. Great to hear this. Abracadabra, question for Julian. Where are we standing with London? What do you mean? Oh, you mean the London fork? Yeah, I think everything is going smoothly. So I think it's going to happen without a hiccup. Yeah. Parasnath, what do you think about Phantom Network? Actually, I have one of my students who was released a big project on the Phantom Network, and now he's getting some help from their foundation. So yeah, I think Phantom Network, their niche is privacy. That's all I can say, but I haven't studied more than that. Fish YouTube, guys, do you know any safe farms on Tron Chain? I mean, don't waste your time on Tron, really. Like, just focus on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. Like Tron, it's just finished. There is nothing on Tron. Okay. Dream Merchants, best arbitrage bot for DeFi with multi-token and multi-platforms. Wow, I mean, it's impossible to give a general answer. You have to do your own research based on your tolerance in risk and what you want to trade, etc. Freeman Cryptoverse will give you free lesson. Nilesh, what can you say about EOS? Yeah, forget about it. EOS is done. Like Dan Larimer left the project. Nobody uses it anymore. Yeah, EOS is just a waste of time. Alright, guys. Alright, I think we have no more questions, so we're going to call it a day. So thanks everybody for coming to this live stream, and I will see you soon on Eat the Blocks. Have a great day. Have a great week. Bye bye.